Good morning and welcome to Tiempo. I'm Carolina, lead in for Joe Torres. Two topics this morning: a fun and educational new way to celebrate Latin culture. There are now playing cards to teach children of all ages about Latin history and heritage. Welcome back to Tiempo. We are now turning to an innovative concept, a fun new way to share the Latino culture with the entire family. They're called the Latin Heritage Cards. The deck of playing cards is being used to teach history. Each card features a famous and influential personality. And joining us now to talk about these cards are the company's president, Newton Paul, and public relations director, Kirsi Munoz. Welcome this morning.
And buenos dias.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Newton, tell me about these cards. What are they about?
Well, the cards are a concept, innovative concept that my brother, Andre Paul, who's also executive VP of the company, presented a paper I read about, and I just digested it, and he said, there's an idea, what do you think? And I was like, well, I think we can do the Latin population, and let's just research it, see if it's out there. So researched it, nothing was out there, to our surprise, so we just started to design it back in 2006. And during the course, people we were working with fell off the wayside, and so it took 4 years later for us to get back up and running, and we found the right designers, makers of the cards, and we moved forward. We recruited our VP, York Kemp, and hired 3 other individuals, Kirsty's one of them, and just thought of a good mix to kind of push our mantra: learn it, dream it, make it. And if you want to tell them in Spanish, that'd be fine.
Oh yeah, tell us how.
Aprende, sueña y hazlo. The goal of the card is to educate the youth population about iconic historic figures that have shaped American history. Unfortunately for us here in America, we don't really get that in the classes to learn much about these people. So we want to spark that little, we want people to want to learn more about the character, so we provide a little bit of information about who the people are.
Sonia Sotomayor.
Yeah, she's actually one of my favorite cards because I believe that she resembles the American dream. Her parents migrated here in World War II, and she grew up in South Bronx, and as we all know, her father had a 3rd grade education. Meanwhile, she went to graduate summa cum laude of Princeton University, and later on being nominated the first Hispanic justice ever to serve in the Supreme Court. And I mean, she's such an inspirational figure to me, and she's very current. That's one of the reasons why she's there. She's the queen of heart, actually. And we want kids to be able to connect to people, say like, wow, that person's part of my culture, to be proud, like being Latino, being Hispanic, and say, if she can do it, a person from the South Bronx, I can do it too.
And you have the First Lady of Argentina. How did you pick her name?
Just learning about the history that here's a woman that was passionate about helping people that were not in high society in terms of finances, that she went out and used her notoriety to develop hospitals, to educate people, and she was dedicated to being the queen of Argentina. And even after she passed, people still honored her.
I notice you have Pele here as well. What are you hoping people get from these cards? What are you hoping that parents will teach their children about these people and their influence on culture, really internationally?
Well, Pelé actually is another very inspirational figure. Not only was he known as the king of soccer, he's the only player to have ever been part of a team that won the World Cup 3 times, but Pelé came from very poor means. When he was little, he used to play soccer with a ball that was made out of a sock stuffed with newspaper and the string tie. And I'm like, if he can work so hard to accomplish his goal, when you are really passionate about something, if he can do it, we can do it too. That's our goal. Going back to the mantra, learn it, dream it, make it. We want kids to be inspired. We want them to say like, wow, I'm proud to be from Latin America. These are people that were just like me, and look how far they come.
How do you decide, Newton, how do you decide which people that you put on the cards? Is it difficult because there are so many historical figures that have done so much in Latino culture?
Well, it was very difficult. We did a lot of research, and more importantly, we polled different people from the different backgrounds to get their feedback on who should be on and who should not. We're also developing the Spanish version, and we're going to break out into specific ethnic groups within the Latin culture and make a dedicated card for them. And that's going to, hopefully we'll release it in January, will be our in Spanish edition, because we know that the English language and Spanish language is interchangeable based on generations of when you were born. So, you know, our idea is basically to target the youth between 18 and 24, so that way they're the bridge between the elders and the youth. So that way, it's all about entertaining and engaging. Like, educate, entertain, and engage. We want the families to engage and talk about this history so it doesn't fall by the wayside.
And real quick, Kirsi, will you talk about Roberto Clemente, about why he's so important?
Absolutely. Roberto Clemente was one of the first Latino to have won a World Series. He was also a most valuable player in the National League, and in the World Series he held 12 Golden Glove Awards. I believe he also held for 4 seasons straight the highest batting record. But he was also a great humanitarian. He created a foundation where he would go back to Latin America and provide gloves and bats for children and food and clothing. And unfortunately, his tragic death was on the way to deliver goods to victims of an earthquake in Nicaragua. So I believe that not only was he a great player, but he also wanted to give back to his community, and that's one of the biggest reasons why he's there.
Okay, we'll keep talking about this. When we come back, we'll have more on the Latin Heritage card, so please stay with us. Trying to get as many cards. And we're talking about a new game that family members could really just go through these cards and learn so much about Latino culture, the Latin Heritage cards, playing cards. Tell us, again, we want to get through some of these cards and who these figures are. Celia Cruz you have Richie Valens. Newton, tell me about these, how you decided to get them on there. Obviously, very big names.
Well, you know, again, it's just polling friends, but doing more research to understand their contribution. You have Celia Cruz, who's won multiple Grammys and came from similar means to what Kirsi indicated, where people are coming from these impoverished communities and working hard, having passion, and building something that's going to last for a lifetime and influence other people at the same time. And that goes with our product. There's so much passion that's gone into it that we want to influence people for all of a lifetime.
So how can you get these cards, Kirsi?
Well, absolutely. You can go to LatinHeritageCards.com. There's an order form right there, and you can actually learn more about the product. We are planning to come up with trivia questions. So as you can see, we can only fit so much information in the cards, but we do want to educate people about the characters over there. We can only feature 52 people in these cards, but we're coming up with several editions as well, so definitely check this out often. And also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter, LatinHeritageCards.com.
And is there the website? I see there's another website.
Well, the website is
Latin Heritage Cards. You can find it. You can find all the information you need in LatinHeritageCards.com.
My email's npaul@LatinHeritageCards.com, and we can be reached through the website.
What are you finding when people test your cards and use them? What are their reactions? What are they saying? Are they noticing that they don't know as much as they thought they knew?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, my own experience, Richie Valens, who you mentioned, he makes me a prime example of what we're trying to accomplish. I love rock and roll. I love Spanish rock especially. I did not know who Richie Valens was. And I mean, the song La Bamba, who doesn't know Para Bailar La Bamba? And to learn like, wow, this is one of the pioneers of Spanish rock. A lot of people, even older people, very connected, very educated to their Latin roots. Like, I did not know that.
And then you have also Rita Moreno and Jose Ferrer.
Yes, 2 great actors. Rita Moreno being the first Hispanic, one of the few people to have earned an Oscar, and a Grammy, an Emmy, a Tony. Jose Ferrer being the first Hispanic to ever win a Grammy. Yeah. That's correct, yeah.
Excited about it? Is this something that you've just put such a labor of love?
Absolutely. I mean, the team, we work countless hours. We're always communicating, and we really want this to be something that lasts for all of a lifetime.
Okay. And also the feedback we're getting from people everywhere we have introduced the product. We have introduced it, what, like 3 weeks ago? Everywhere, everybody's like, oh my God, these are amazing. I love them. How can we get it? We get a lot of questions. When's the Spanish version coming? So remember, by Christmas time, we'll have the Spanish version, and then we'll come up with a second edition with more people.
Well, we will look for that. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for
having us.
All right, muchas gracias for being with us again this morning. If you miss any part of this show, you can watch it online, 7online.com. That wraps up another edition of Tiempo. I'm Carolina Lead. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.